Alright, next up we have the Core Rager. So this is a 4 mana 4/4, and if your hand is empty, gain +3/+3. So this is a card that's going in the wrong direction with Hunter, as they've gone with another card you'll see later, where it's encouraging Hunter to just drop their hand on the board and have an empty hand and play completely through top decks. For me, that design essentially promotes unintelligent play. It just wants you to throw your hand down as fast as possible to get value, which I don't think is something that should be encouraged. You want to make intelligent decisions and hold cards in your hand so that you can react to situations. This card is going to get slotted into Face Hunter, I'm sure, as a 4 mana, essentially 7/7. Yes, it can get big game hunted, but at the same time, if you've dropped your hand on the board and you're playing this on turn 4, or even if this only gets turned to a 7/7 on turn 5, that's a lot of tempo. It's already defaultly quite a good card with the 4/4/4 stats, and with the +3/+3, it's just very strong. So, but I think it's going in the wrong direction. So I think it's a strong card, and it will be played, but I don't like the design. So that's that. Flamewalker. This is a 3 mana 2/4, and it's a mage card, and after you cast a spell, deal 2 damage randomly split among all enemies. So this would go in a similar deck as your Mana Wyrm, possibly the new Flood Mage that's gotten popular, where you have a lot of spells and low-cost minions, and you're getting incremental advantage with those low-cost minions. This is the kind of thing that you're shooting out 2 damage every time you cast a spell, and so you're getting a lot of incremental advantage off a already decently statted 3-drop. So I think this card is potentially playable in something like a Flood Mage deck. I think it's about average. It's not super strong, but it's definitely not weak. The next card is also a mage card. It's Dragon's Breath. It's 5 cost to start and deal 4 damage, but it costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. This is another insane tempo card for mage, and it's going with another theme that they're introducing in Blackrock, which is cost 1 less for each minion that died. There's a couple other cards you'll see coming up that have the similar mechanics. And this card is insane. If you play this in even a mech mage or a flood mage, where you have lots of low-cost minions that are dying all the time, and you're echoing them back and flooding the board with lots of low-cost minions that you can sacrifice away, this card represents a huge tempo advantage, because you can trade into a couple things, make some good trades, and then you have essentially a free or low-costing deal 4 damage, which is ridiculous. Yeah, this is a very strong card. It's definitely gonna see play. So Blackwing Corruptor, he's in the dragon theme card archetype, and he is a 5 mana 5/4, and he's essentially like a mini fire elemental, where if you're holding a dragon, you can deal 3 damage to whatever you'd like. So he represents a neutral fire elemental, which people have been hoping for a while, and his stats are a little raw, but his battle cry is very, very strong. If you think about it this way, his battle cry is shoot a frostbolt at something, or shoot a dark bomb at something, and that costs 2 mana by itself, so he should cost 7 mana for what he does, but he costs 5, and he loses 1 health point for being so good. So that's how you can think about this guy, and he's going to be played in every dragon deck for sure. Next we have one of the flavor legendaries of the set, Nefarian, and he's pretty big, he's pretty beefy. He is a 9 mana 8/8 dragon, so he's one of those dragons just like Alistraza, just like Deathwing, just like, as you'll see coming up, Chromagus, that are going to be coming up, that are going to be drawn, and they will stick in your hand, so you can enable all those great dragon cards like Technician and the guy we just saw, the mini fire elemental. I forget his name now. Anyways, so this guy, Nefarian, he's a 9 mana 8/8 dragon, and his battle cry is add 2 random spells to your hand from your opponent's class. So this is some crazy RNG, and it is also why I think he's bad. In some situations he can be extremely good. For example, if you're playing against a mage and you get a Flame Strike and another Flame Strike, or a Flame Strike and a Blizzard, or other such good cards. But you can also whiff and get really useless class cards, like if you're playing against a rogue, and let's say you're playing a priest, and you get weapon interaction cards like Deadly Poison and Tinker's Sharpsword Oil, things like that. Or in worst case, if you're playing against a shaman, you can get Totemic Might, and it's completely useless to you. So I think he can. More cards are a whiff than a hit for this guy, so I don't think he's playable, but he's definitely fun, and lots of RNG craziness can occur, and he will be played for sure, but I don't think he'll be seen competitively at all. Next, we got the Draconid Crusher. It's a 6 mana 6/6 dragon, and if your opponent has less than 15 health, it gets into BGH range. So I think this guy is okay. Essentially, it's a win more card, which is not usually something you want to put in your deck. And at the same time, if you're winning, it also gives your opponent a chance to come back by gaining enough attack to become, be able to be hit by Big Game Hunter. So, you know, he's okay. I think the 6/6 stats are good for 6 mana, but I think a 6 mana card needs to be have more immediate effect on the board when you play it, and I don't think this guy has that. He's definitely not as good as Sylvanas, even though Sylvanas is a 5/5. He's not as good as other 6-drop legendaries, so I don't think we'll be seeing much of this guy. Maybe in the dragon deck, but maybe not even there. I think there are just better includes. So below average overall. I might even play a Boulder Fist Ogre instead of it. The next card we have is Volcanic Drake, and it is a 6 mana 6/4 that costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. It's also a dragon, and I think this card is actually much better than the previous card, the Draconid Guard, because it represents a tempo advantage. So it goes along with this theme we've been seeing of cost 1 less for each minion that died, and it allows you to make big tempo plays. So on turn 6, or on any turn actually, even an early turn for Paladin, for example, where you are playing muster, you can trade away all your muster units into something else, and there you go. You've killed 4 units, most likely, if you've killed all 3 of your muster guys, and you've killed one of their dudes, or 2 of their dudes, let's say. Then it's reduced by 5 mana, and this costs 1. And that's insane. 6/4 for 1 mana is just ridiculous, obviously. And so this guy really, he can be an insta-win card where you just make certain trades and you plop him down too early for your opponent to be able to deal with him, or they have to deal with him very inefficiently, and he can just win you the game. So this card is definitely good, and it's going to see play definitely in Paladin, and in other classes that can play lots of early cards that they can trade away to get a big advantage and play this guy as a big tempo play. Hey, that God of Pony thingy. So next we have in my opinion, the most exciting card in the set, and it's Chromagus. It's an 8 mana 6/8, and whenever you draw a card, put another copy into your hand. So whatever you draw gets multiplied by 2. And this guy is a dragon. He has good stats for his cost, and he dodges big game hunter. So these are some of the most important things, and pretty much he's going to be played, and he's going to be a big win condition for control decks, especially if people can figure out how to play this guy and play card draw on that turn, because any way you can draw cards will draw you 2 cards. So if you have a Acolyte of Pain on the board and you hit into something once you've played this guy, you draw 2 of whatever you would have drawn. If you have, for example, an Arcane Intellect that you can somehow reduce the cost of and play on the same turn as this guy, you draw 4 cards, 2 of each of the cards you would have drawn. It's crazy. The possibilities are ridiculous. This guy is definitely going to be a big part of the meta moving forward, and he is unfortunately only coming out in the 4th wing, the 3rd or 4th wing. So we won't be seeing him for a couple weeks, but when he comes out, he's going to be everywhere. So get ready for this guy to be part of your control decks, especially dragon control. Here is a crazy Paladin card that is going to make Paladin Dragon the strongest dragon deck of all of them. It's Dragon Consort. It's a 5 mana 5/5, and its battle cry is the next dragon you play costs 2 less. So basically what this guy represents, and that is not this turn, that is, it really doesn't matter when that is. It's the next dragon you play. So it doesn't matter if that's 10 turns from when you play this guy, you get that next dragon at a 2-cost discount. So what it allows you to do is crazy plays like play Chromagus on turn 6 right after you played this guy. You get a turn 6 Chromagus because he costs 8 and his cost is reduced by 2, and so he costs 6. That's going to be a big way that this card is going to be a big way that Paladin can make big tempo dragon plays that just win them the game almost automatically, especially things like Alexstrasza on turn 7 as a follow-up. A lot of crazy potential with this card. It's definitely going to see play in every Paladin Dragon, and I think it may even make